What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video and Merry Christmas. Now, I'd mentioned last week that I wanted to do a video on the Samsung Z Fold 6. Here it is. Ultimately, what I want to talk about is what if? What if Samsung do nothing? They continue with the year-on-year drivel that they keep providing customers with. It's the same specs, the same outer screen, the same price. You get the gist. Or what if Samsung make these 6 key changes? Let's go. Now, change number 1 is the most obvious and most needed. The list of 6 changes are in level of prioritization. So the highest priority that Samsung must do is change that outer screen. For years now, customers have complained and moaned about the outer screen. It's almost like the ugly stepchild. You love the software, you love the inside screen, you love the form factor on the inside, but you have to deal with that outer 6.2 inch, like 17:9 horrendous aspect ratio. Well, Samsung have to change this, or they will fail miserably with the Z Fold 6. Now, for each change, I am going to suggest what Samsung should do based on some rumours and leaks I know of. This one's straightforward. Change outer screen to a more compatible aspect ratio like the OnePlus Open. Straightforward. Make it 20:9 and 6.3 or 6.4 inch diagonal and you're on to a winner. Essentially just make the outer screen usable. Now, I have written down my bullet points on my Remarkable 2. I noticed Unbox Therapy done a heavily paid for video and didn't really make it clear that it was. But yeah, Lou, clearly 2024, your priorities are just to make money and not care about content. So well done to you, Unbox Therapy. You fucking disgrace. Anyway, so outer screen was the first point. The next point, and for me, level of prioritization, has to go to the camera setup. Samsung, arguably, and I've got one here, have the best camera system on any phone. Not just like slate style candy bar phone, but any phone whatsoever. Saying that they cannot move this camera system to a foldable device when OnePlus have done this, we can't stand for it anymore. And it's because of the release of the OnePlus that a lot of these points are absolute must-dos. Historically, Samsung had zero competition. They didn't have a OnePlus Open to contend with or a Pixel Fold. So they continually churned out 3 12 megapixel cameras on a thick, tiny device. They have to change, and camera system wise, they have to take the S23 camera setup, S23 Ultra camera setup, and put it on the Z Fold 6. I would maybe settle for a 5x zoom rather than a 10x zoom, but really, other than them try to steal as much money as possible from the customers, I can't see how they can't just lift and shift the whole camera setup when you consider that's what OnePlus done with their OnePlus Open from the Find X6 Pro. So yeah, get it done, Samsung, because I know a lot of you watching, are pissed off with everything they've been doing recently. Now, we're moving down to the next tier of prioritization. However, for me, they still have to make these changes in order to compete with the OnePlus Open. It's the battery, life, charging speeds, capacity. All needs to change. What Samsung are getting from their 4400 mAh battery is fine. But with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip and a 5000 mAh battery, Samsung could potentially get a 2 to 3 day battery out of a large foldable device. So they have to do it. The OnePlus Open has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and a 4800 mAh battery, and I have been getting 1.5 to 2 days consistently. No battery anxiety whatsoever. So if Samsung could up the capacity with the 8 Gen 3 chip, it'll be a 2-day, no problem device with no battery anxiety even after 2 days. Again, not up there with they must do it, because we could get by with the regular 4400 mAh battery with the new efficiencies of the 8 Gen 3. I'd just like to see them improve that. And sticking with battery, I think it's only right to talk about the wireless charging and wire charging speeds. Why, oh why, are we stuck with 45 watt charging or 25 watt charging or 15 watts wireless? So Samsung, make it 67 watts wired and 50 watts wireless, please. Now the next one in that middle tier of prioritization is price. For years, Samsung have stuck to a very similar price point of $1,800 or £1,750, with, again, the OnePlus Open being £1,600 or $1,600 before any deals or money off vouchers. Samsung have to do the same thing. We can't pay more money for a lesser inferior phone. So for me, the Z Fold 6 has to be released at $1,599. Or why would you not go with the OnePlus Open or wait for the OnePlus Open 2? And finally, these are more desirables than absolute necessities, but firstly, the S Pen has to work on both screens. It can't just work on the inner screen. Like the phone of the year, foldable or non-foldable, my phone of the year, this has S Pen or stylus support on the inner and outer screens. The Z Fold 6 has to have that, but it also has to incorporate the S Pen into the build. Not into a case, but into the build. Like the S23 Ultra. I don't use the S Pen very much, but the fact that it is just in the phone, let me just try and get that back in there. The fact that it is in the phone adds a lot of convenience. Having to buy a case, yes, Samsung didn't even provide the case with the phone. You had to buy another case, buy an S Pen. Yeah, don't even get me started on how much Samsung rob customers, but for the Z Fold 6, they must include the pen and it should be integrated into the build of the phone, especially if they're going to stick with a 4400 mAh battery. There's space in there. And the final thing for me, and the least on the priority scale, is because they already do this remarkably well, which again adds to my frustration. Software. One UI is fantastic to use. From customization, the Good Lock app, notifications, multitasking, everything's great. Everything seems well polished. But there's a few improvements that can be made. Having 3 or 4 apps side by side, like on the OnePlus Open, has actually made my life a hell of a lot easier for copying and pasting and moving between apps. With the Samsung having 3 squares and then floating windows, it can get a bit messy, and I have noticed that copying and pasting isn't quite as easy. So what I'd like to see are some software features incorporating more AI, multitasking, camera features like you get in the Pixel, Magic Eraser, sharpened up a bit, object removal, all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, I'm just asking for them to improve One UI on the foldable phone. While I do think it's absolutely perfect on the S23 Ultra, I think there's still a few areas where they could improve the software experience on the Z Fold lineup. So there we have it. A wish list of 6 things in descending prioritization. That's my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours. What have I missed? What do you put higher on your priority scale? Maybe you don't care too much that the camera's better. Maybe you want the S Pen higher up. Let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to for the Z Fold 6 or what you hope will be there. Also, let me know in the comments if you believe or if you're in agreement that the OnePlus Open is the phone of the year. Only for those that have actually used a OnePlus Open. This isn't a free rein for all of you negative people to complain and be Samsung Knights without actually using a OnePlus Open. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year when it comes. I will be back before then with more content. I was really hoping to have the Red Magic 9 Pro that I've ordered and the Z60 Ultra that I've ordered, but not to be. Hopefully they'll be here early in the new year. If you've liked this content, smash subscribe. And if you can be bothered, hit the like button. It means a lot. We are about 130-ish subscribers away from 14,000. I would love to end the year with a nice round 14,000 subscribers and then focus on next year to make it to 50. Until next time.